The red sky above the jungle moved slowly, thick with heat and fog. The trees below were tall and wide, their black leaves rustling like whispers. In this dark forest, something old was waking, but the hunters didn't see it. They landed with pride, full of noise and laughter, stepping out of their ship in bright armor. They believed they were the strongest. They believed the stories were lies. "There is only one human left," said the leader, a large alien named Corvel. "We hunt it. We bring back its head. We prove again that the apex predator is us." The hunting team laughed. They were 7 in number. Each one had hunted beasts across the galaxy. Giant sand serpents, acid-dripping cave worms, even sky krakens from the frozen moons. But they had never hunted a human. They walked into the jungle with scanners, weapons, and sharp claws. The air was thick. Strange cries echoed between the trees. Something was watching them. They felt it. But they thought it was just the jungle. After 1 hour, they lost contact with the youngest member. His name was Virok. His voice had been clear 1 second, then gone the next. No scream, no warning. The group stopped. Corvel ordered everyone to spread out and search. They found Virok's body hanging upside down from a tree. His helmet was cracked. His neck was broken. His weapon was missing. On his chest, carved with a knife, were 4 words: "Still hunting. Still human." No one laughed now. Corvel growled. "He thinks this is a game. He wants us to panic." They burned the body and moved on. But fear was growing. The jungle seemed to change. Trees moved in ways they should not. Shadows stayed longer than they should. One of the hunters, Yilna, swore she saw a human face staring at her from the branch's butt. When she fired, it was gone. They set up camp that night. They made a circle with scanners, traps, and lights. No one slept. But the next morning, another was gone. His name was Drex. He had stood guard. They found his boots, but not the rest of him. Blood was smeared on a tree nearby. A broken tooth lay in the dirt. His weapon was found inside a trap he didn't set. The group started arguing. Corvel shouted at them to stay calm. But his eyes were nervous. He looked around at the trees, as if something would jump at him any second. He knew what this was now. This was not a hunt. This was a warning. The third death came just before sunset. 2 hunters walked ahead to scout the path. They moved slowly, weapons ready. One of them, Galric, walked under a tree. That tree exploded. A metal rope snapped around his leg and pulled him up into the air. He screamed once, then a sharp sound cut the scream in half. When the others reached him, only blood dripped down from the leaves. The 4th hunter, Yilna, broke. She dropped her weapon and ran. She screamed that the human was not a man but a ghost, a monster from Earth's past. Corvel shouted for her to stop. But she vanished into the trees. Later, they found her body. Her eyes were open wide, her face frozen in fear. No wounds, no blood, just dead. Corvel now stood with only 2 hunters left. All 3 were shaking. They set up fire around them. They stayed close. No one spoke. That night, Corvel finally admitted the truth. "He is not the last human," he said quietly. "He is the first one we remembered. We forgot what they were. What they did during the Earth Wars. How they turned planets into graves. We thought they were gone, but maybe. He's the reason the others went silent." The 2 hunters didn't answer. One of them held his gun too tightly. The other was crying softly, not loud, just enough to feel like something was breaking. Inside him, at midnight, a voice spoke from the trees. "You came to hunt me," it said. "But you forgot what I am. You forgot Earth." The 3 aliens jumped. They fired blindly into the jungle. Trees cracked. Leaves fell, but they hit nothing. Then silence, then silence. Then a scream. One more hunter vanished into the dark. Only one stood beside Corvel now. Corvel looked into the trees. "What do you want?" he shouted. The voice answered, calm, cold, human. "To remind the galaxy," it said, "who the real apex predator is." Then came the final attack. Not loud, not messy, just fast, The last hunter's throat was cut before he could blink. Corvell turned and fired his weapon, but it jammed. He fell back, crawling, eyes wide. A shape stepped from the trees, human, armored, face hidden, blood on the blade. Corvell shook his head. You're supposed to be extinct. No, the human didn't answer. He raised a small device. It played back Corvell's voice from earlier. We hunt it. We bring back its head. Then the device clicked off. The human stepped closer. Corvell screamed. Then silence. Later, a rescue team came. They followed the trail of blood. They found only one thing, a small stack of alien helmets, and a note carved into a metal plate. You hunted the wrong species. Across the galaxy, the video spread fast. It showed the broken helmets. Blood. The message. Some believed it was fake. Some laughed. But the hunters, they stayed silent. Because they knew the truth. A human was out there alive, angry and hunting again. The ship landed on the jungle planet without sound. It was black, smooth, and shaped like a knife. Inside it were 6 elite warriors, each one hand-picked by the Zorak Empire. Were called Death Pack 9. They never failed a mission. Their leader was Commander Sorlax. He was tall, strong, and born from a family of hunters. His claws had torn through beasts from fireworlds and frost moons. He wore a black mask and a red symbol on his shoulder, a fang. His voice was deep and quiet. This is not a rescue, he said. This is a kill mission. No mercy, no mistakes. The others nodded. They'd seen the footage, the broken helmets, the blood, the message left by the human. 5 other Zorak warriors were now dead. The galaxy was watching. Sorlax didn't. Like fear. He didn't believe in ghosts. To him, the stories of human violence were old myths. Earth was destroyed long ago. This one survivor, this apex predator, was just a man with luck. That belief would die very soon. The team moved into the jungle. Each warrior carried advanced scanners and smart rifles. They could track heat, smell, movement. They were sure they would find the human fast. But something was wrong. Their signals glitched. The jungle was too quiet. The wind didn't move. Birds didn't cry. It was like the trees were holding their breath. Then one of the soldiers stopped walking. His scanner beeped once, then went dead. He looked at Sorlax. Commander, something's jamming us. Sorlax gave the order. Eyes up. Tight formation. No one splits. But it didn't matter. The first attack came like lightning. Shadow dropped from the trees. It landed behind the last warrior, slit his throat, and vanished. The body fell. No one saw the attacker. Just 1 second, and one soldier gone. The others turned and fired at the trees, but hit nothing. He's close. Someone shouted. Don't panic, Sorlax roared. But their fear was growing. One of the soldiers, Norg, raised his scanner high. It blinked once, then showed a dot right behind him. Too late. The human was already there. Norg's head flew from his body before he could scream. Now the jungle was screaming. The remaining 4 ran into a clearing. They formed a circle, backs together. Sorlax's eyes moved fast, scanning the trees. He's watching us, he said. He's playing with us. I don't see him. One shouted. That's the point, said another. Then a body dropped from the tree. It was the first soldier who died. His head was missing, his eyes still open. His chest had a symbol burned into it, a fang, their own mark. Used against. Then Sorlax stared at the mark. Something old stirred in his memory. Long ago, during war briefings, the elders spoke of humans like this, silent, clever, deadly. Not just soldiers. Hunters. Ghosts. We underestimated him, Sorlax whispered. He knows this jungle. He is the jungle. The others were silent. Then came the laughter. Low. Human. From all around them. He's everywhere. One soldier said. No, Sorlax said. He's close. Then the human spoke. Calm, cold. You landed proud. You came to kill. But I am not prey. You are. Sorlax fired into the trees. The others followed. But the shots hit leaves, branches, nothing more. Then another body vanished. Now, only 3 remained. Sorlax gave the order to retreat. Fall back to the ship. They ran, but the jungle didn't let them go. Explosives hidden in the ground blew up behind them. The blast threw one soldier into the air. His body hit a tree and bent in the wrong way. He didn't move again. 2 left, Sorlax and 1 other. They reached the ship, but the ship was already open. Inside was the pilot, dead, his chest torn open. The control board smashed, and on the wall, written in blood, "You are not hunters. You are trophies." Sorlax stared, his face behind the mask twisted in rage. "He wants fear," he said. "He wants us weak." The last soldier nodded. "So what do we do?" Sorlax clenched his fists. "We make him bleed." But the human was already behind them. He dropped from the top of the ship and hit the last. Soldier hard, bones cracked, blood sprayed. Sorlax turned, too late, and saw the man face covered in mud, eyes cold, movements perfect. A blade spun in his hand, dripping red. Sorlax raised his rifle and fired. The human ducked, slid forward, cut deep. Sorlax fell back, wounded. His arm burned. The gun fell from his hand. The human stood over him. "You're better than the others." The human said. Sorlax coughed. "Why are you doing this?" The human stared at him. "Because you forgot what fear feels like." Sorlax tried to stand. The human kicked him down. "You came for a trophy," the human said. "Now go back and tell them. Humans are not gone. We are just hiding, and we remember everything." The human turned and walked into the trees. He didn't kill Sorlax. He left him broken alone, hunted. Later, a rescue ship arrived. They found Sorlax barely alive. The others were dead. Their bodies were hanging in the trees. Each one had a message carved into the armor. "Apex has returned." The galaxy was no longer laughing. Alien leaders watched the footage in silence. Some denied it. Some said it was a trick, but others knew the truth. The human was real, and he was just getting started. The Galactic Council sat in silence. The room was cold, dark, and full of tension. Holograms floated above the round table. Each one showed the same image: 6 alien bodies hanging from trees, some without heads, some with weapons stuck through their chests. All of them Zorak, elite hunters. A symbol was burned into the skin of one. A single word carved into another's armor. Apex. The room buzzed with quiet fear. No one spoke. For the first time in many years, the galaxy felt something. It had forgotten terror. A high voice broke the silence. "This is one man," said Counselor Dreth of the Athelians. "One human. How can he kill so many trained warriors?" Another counselor, old and blind, nodded slowly. "You were not alive during the Earth Wars. You don't remember. But I do. Humans are not just soldiers. They are something worse. When cornered, they become monsters." Some laughed nervously. Others didn't. "Send more," growled a general from the Warburn battalion. "Crush him." "No," said the blind one. "You send an army. We'll teach them fear." So they today made a decision. A quiet one. No public news. No grand announcements. They would send a hunter, one that was not born but built, XOR-Lin. He was half machine, half beast. Designed to track anything, kill anything. Never lost a target in over 4,000 hunts. His eyes could see heat through mountains. His brain could calculate thousands of escape routes. His muscles were steel, his skin like armor. When they told him the target was a human, Xerlin didn't blink. "Easy," he said. "They are extinct." The council looked at each other. No one corrected him. The hunter's ship dropped into the jungle like a shadow. It made no noise. It left no smoke. Exerlon stepped out, scanning the trees. Hot, quiet. "Wrong," he said. He walked alone. No backup, no fear. He didn't speak again. For 6 hours, nothing moved. No attack, no traps. Just jungle. Then he found the first sign, a spear stuck into the ground. It was made of alien bone. The tip was red. The shaft had a word burned into it wrong. Exerlin smiled. He was being watched. Hunted. He liked it. I'm here, he said. Come try. We're disparate. You're different. It came from behind. He turned, but nothing was there. Exerlin activated his thermal vision. He saw a faint shape in the trees. Warm, human. Still, he aimed his arm cannon. Fired. The tree exploded, but the shape had already moved fast. Too fast for the next hour. Exerlin followed the heat trail. He moved like a machine, never stopping. The trail twisted and turned, crossed rivers, moved up trees, vanished, and reappeared. The trail ended at a clearing. In the center was a helmet Sorek design. Inside, it was a single eyeball, a gift. Then came the whisper again. You're not like them. You think, you plan. That's good. Exerlin raised his arm. I don't play, he said. Come out. Nothing. Then a blur. A body hit him from the side. Hard. The force knocked him into a tree. He rolled. Came up fast, weapon ready, but the human was gone. Exerlin's sensors screamed. His armor had a deep cut across the chest. Not enough to damage, but enough to bleed. He touched the cut. Blood. His first time in years. He smiled. You got close, he said. The human's voice came again. So did you. Exerlin activated tracking drones. They flew into the air, scanning. Every leaf, every heat signal, but 5 seconds later they exploded, one after another. Boom, boom, boom. All gone. Exerlin frowned. This is new. He moved again, slower, watching everything. Then he saw it, a camera. Hidden in a branch? Not a normal one, an old Earth model. Broken, fixed, covered in vines. Recording. He walked to it, picked it up. A light blinked, then it spoke. The human's voice. This is not about revenge, not about war. It's about memory. Exerlin tilted his head. You remember the galaxy as yours? As clean, as ordered. You erased Earth from the maps. Erased our name. Thought we were gone. The message paused. You forgot who ruled before you. You forgot who made monsters. You forgot who refused to die. And the final words, I'm. Just the first. Exerlin's eyes widened. He dropped the camera. Behind him, knife flew. He turned, but not fast enough. It hit his side. Metal bent. Wires sparked. He fired back wild. Trees shattered. Nothing hit. Then came the second knife. This one struck deep. He fell to one knee. He roared, not in pain. In rage, you can't win, he growled. The human stepped from the shadows, covered. In mud, holding a blood-stained blade, calm eyes, slow breath. I don't need to win, the human said. I just need them to remember. He vanished again. Exerlin limped to his ship, not defeated, but bleeding and watching. He had faced many enemies, monsters, war machines, void beasts. But never something like this. Not a soldier, a predator. A message later, when he returned to the council, he dropped the knife on the table. They stared at it. Old Earth steel, human-made, no body, someone asked. No trace? Exerlin looked at them. He wanted me to live, he said. He wanted me to tell you. Tell us what? Exerlin leaned forward, that this was the start. Council stayed silent. Somewhere, far, far away, another signal woke up. Another cryopod hissed open. Another human stood up, eyes sharp, breath slow. And somewhere in the trees, the first human whispered to himself, "They remember now." The drone flew low over the jungle, its wings buzzing softly. It scanned the ground with heat vision, searching for anything alive. The data it sent back made no sense. No animals, no birds, no movement, only heat signatures. Too cold to be human. Too large to be natural. Then the drone saw something. It tilted its camera down. There was a clearing in the middle of the forest. Trees had been cut in perfect circles. Blood covered the ground. Skulls were arranged in patterns. Helmets from 6 different alien species lay in a pile. Bones stacked like towers. A single flag stood in the center black, with one red word burned across it. Earth. The drone recorded everything. It sent the feed to a hidden satellite. Within hours, that video had spread across 6 star systems. Billions watched it. Governments tried to stop it, but it was too late. The galaxy had seen the truth. A human wasn't just alive. He was winning. The jungle planet, once ignored and forgotten, was now called by a new name in whispers across the stars: the Blood Forest. The alien empires started to panic. Mercenaries, bounty hunters, even scientists rushed to the planet. Some came to kill the human, some came to study him, some just wanted to see if the stories were true. None of them came back. Within 2 weeks, 20 ships were lost. The jungle swallowed everything. The few signals that came out were filled with screams. One showed a hunter begging for his life. Another showed a soldier firing at shadows. The last signal showed a message written in fire: "You erased us. We remember." In a cold lab far above the planet, a female scientist named Dr. Viren watched the videos with shaking hands. She was from the Vosari Order, a race that once fought Earth long ago. Her grandmother told her bedtime stories about human war stories she thought were just fear tales. Now she knew they were real. She called a meeting with her leaders. "We must stop him," she said, "before others wake." Others. The governor. Dr. Viren nodded. "This one human speaks like he's not alone, and he leaves signals, Earth tech, cryo marks, deep code triggers. He's waking them, one by one." The council laughed at first. But then a technician showed something. Second cryopod had opened, somewhere deep underground. Human life signs. It's active, moving, watching. "Shut it down," one voice said. "It's too late," said Dr. Viren. "He's not hiding anymore. He's making a forest of death. A warning, a shrine." She paused. "No, not a shrine. A hunting ground." Back on the planet, the first human walked silently through the forest. His name had once been forgotten. Now he had no name, only purpose. His body was thin, but strong. Covered in scars? His armor was pieced together from alien tech, earth metal, and bone. His eyes were sharp, cold. He checked his traps. Each one had a different body, a different species. Hunters, killers, assassins. All thought they were faster, smarter. They were wrong. He dragged one body through the dirt, stacking it on the pile. Blood soaked the soil. Birds didn't come here. Nothing did. The forest listened only to him now as he worked. A voice came from the trees. "You've made your point." Didn't move. The voice was female. Calm. Tired. Dr. Viren stepped into the clearing with her hands up. No weapon, just a recording device and a small bag. "I studied your kind," she said softly. "I thought you were gone." The human said nothing. She took a slow breath. "I'm not here to fight. I'm here to understand. Why this? Why kill so many?" Finally, he spoke. "You think we vanished? You think you erased us? But Earth doesn't forget. You burned our skies, crushed our cities. Then you buried our name." He looked at the pile of bones. "This is not revenge. This is memory." Viren stepped closer. "There are whispers, others waking." He nodded once. "We slept long, now we rise, not for war, for truth." She looked around the clearing. This is truth, he pointed to the bones. This is history, the kind your kind deleted. Right. Slowly opened the bag. Inside was a photo, old, faded, human family, a child holding a toy ship, a mother smiling. I found this in ruins on Mars, she said. Your people had names. Holmes, love. The human stared at the photo for a long time then. He said something soft. My name was Jace. That was my sister. Dr. Virene's eyes filled with tears. He took the photo gently. I buried this once. Deep. But the stars gave it back. Then his eyes turned cold again. But truth needs blood now, so they remember. Dr. Virene reached into her pocket and pulled out a beacon. They'll come again. Bigger armies, stronger machines. Jace smiled. I hope so. That night, more pods opened underground. Not many, just 5. But 5 was enough. 5 humans. Each from a different Earth war. Each trained by hell. They stepped out slowly, looked around, breathed in the thick air, looked at the pile of bones. Then, at Jace, he gave them each a weapon. Time to hunt. The blood forest grew larger each day. More trees, more traps. Screams, and across the galaxy, the message spread. They thought they erased Earth, but Earth never forgets, so now it hunts. The signal came from the dead side of a broken satellite. It was weak, cracked, an old Earth signal. Most didn't hear it, but those who did stopped breathing for a moment. It started with soft static, then came drums, slow, steady, powerful. A rhythm from a forgotten past. Human war drums. They echoed through the stars. Across sectors, machines picked it up. Translators tried to understand it. But the message was not words. It was feeling, fear, memory, warning. A second later, coordinates followed. Another challenged the blood forest. Another challenged the Galactic Council called an emergency session. Holograms filled the room screens, showing rising panic, failing signals, missing ships. More cryopods had opened. More humans were waking. The head of security slammed his hand on the table. He's building an army. The old blind counselor nodded slowly. No, he's waking ghosts. Dr. Virene stood up. We've been listening, and he's not just waking them, he's calling them. Through sound, through code, through memory. The council fell silent. She continued. He's using old Earth signals, deep brain triggers, rhythm calls, songs from the war ages, hidden in satellites, buried in forgotten tech, the ones we never decoded. The head of the military growled. Then we burn the forest. Kill them all. Erase Earth again. Dr. Virene shook her head. You've already tried that once, and now they're here. Far away in the blood forest, 5 humans stood around a burning pit. Jace, the first awakened, held a broken speaker in his hands. It crackled with old sound. A voice from long ago spoke through it. If you hear this, you are not alone. Each human around the fire had a different past. One was from the last war on Titan, another a deep-sea strike leader from Earth's flooded cities. The others had fought in deserts and space, in the ruins of lost colonies. Now, they were one pack. Jace looked at them. They're listening. They remember Earth only through fear. Let's remind them why. The others nodded that night. They moved silently, across the forest, across the stars. One of them hacked into an old orbit station. They sent a message coded dark, heavy drums again. Then a voice. We are not the past. We are the echo. Pain you buried. The truth you feared. Ships began falling from orbit. Not destroyed, controlled, pulled down by old Earth codes that no one had cracked in 40,000 years. On planet Cavelfor, crowd gathered to see what had landed. A giant black pod cracked open. Inside, nothing. Just a symbol on the wall. Earth lives. The panic spread faster than ships could fly. Alien leaders tried to shut down ports. Tried to block messages. But the human signals were in the old. Tech and machines they used every day. Doors stopped working. Lights blinked red. Air systems played Earth music. One empire the Vaxery sent a fleet to destroy the jungle planet. 30 ships strong. None made it. Not one. One ship sent a final message before disappearing. We never saw them. They were already inside. In the blood forest, the humans worked without sleep. They moved like wolves. They planted more traps, dug more tech, dug deeper tunnels. They didn't talk much, except one Mira, the engineer. She looked at Jace. They thought silence meant we were dead. Jace smiled. No, silence means we were listening. That night, the jungle glowed red. A trap went off to when alien mercenaries walked into it. Each one burned alive by old fire gel stolen from warships above. Their screams echoed for miles. Jay carved a new sign into the trees. You hunted us. Now you're prey. Dr. Viren returned to the forest alone. Again, unarmed. This time, she wasn't looking for answers. She was looking for protection. She stood in the same clearing and waited. After some time, Jace appeared behind her. You came back? She turned slowly, preparing to launch a cleansing beam, a planet burner. They'll kill everything here. Ash! Jace looked around. Let them try. She stepped closer. If you want to win, you need more. You need to speak to them. Jace tilted his head. They don't listen. They only fear. Then speak through fear, she said. You already have their ears. He thought for a long moment, then nodded. The next day, across the galaxy. The skies filled with a new message. Every public screen, every personal device, a shadowed human face appeared. Eyes full of rage. Then the message played. You erased our history. We became it. You erased our name. Now it's a weapon. You erased Earth. Now it echoes through your machines. Then came the last line. We are the apex, and your time is up. The screen went black, but the drums kept playing. Slow, loud, unstoppable, and far below. In the forest, more pods opened. Not hundreds, not yet, but enough. Enough to remind the stars that humanity was not only alive, was calling home. The forest moved. Not like trees blowing in the wind. It moved with footsteps, with breath. With purpose, dozens of new figures walked between the tall trees, silent and alert. Their boots made no sound on the ground. Their eyes scanned every branch. Their weapons were old, but deadly crafted from alien tech. Mixed with Earth's design. Humans, more of them. The cryopods kept opening, one after another, from caves, old bunkers, ruins. Jace watched from a high branch as each pod released someone new. Men, women, young, old, warriors, engineers, scouts. He had once thought he was the last. Now he wasn't alone. Now the pack had returned. Mira stood beside a fresh pod. She checked the systems and then nodded. Another ready. A man stepped out, tall and quiet. His skin was pale from years of sleep, but his hands were steady. Name, Mira asked. Alaric, he said. Commander, Earth Force Delta. She smiled. Welcome back. Nearby others were training. Throwing knives, setting traps, rebuilding old machines. One group cleaned alien rifles. Another studied maps of nearby systems. They weren't loud, they weren't angry, they were focused. Hunting from above, a drone watched them. Belonged to the Teskar Empire. Hidden behind the clouds, a command ship received the footage. The admiral stared in silence. There are more of them, said the technician. Dozens, maybe hundreds soon. Destroy the planet, the admiral said. Full power. But when they sent the codes to the weapon system, the command was rejected. What's wrong? The admiral shouted. The technician turned pale. Our control core is compromised. Something inside our own system. Locked us out. Is it the human signal? The admiral asked. No, the technician whispered. It's something worse. It's the old EarthNet. It's talking to us. Back in the forest, Jace stood in front of the new arrivals. He raised his voice, steady and calm. They think we're wild. He looked around. They think we're broken. The others listened closely. They called us soft ones, called us lost, dead. But we were not dead. We were sleeping. We were waiting. He stepped forward, and now the pack is awake. The humans around him let out one loud breath. Not a cheer, not a scream. A sound of release, a sound of war. Later that night, the humans moved in teams. They hunted like wolves, always in pairs or groups of 4. One would bait. One would track. 2 would kill. The alien mercenaries who landed near the forest edge were the first to disappear. They sent one message before going silent. We thought there was one. There are many. Don't come here. But others did. Glory hunters, pirate, lords assassins. They thought numbers would help. They thought wrong. The humans didn't fight like an army. They fought like beasts. They hit from shadows. Moved in silence. Left no bodies, only symbols. The black Earth's flag appeared on trees, walls, ships, even screens. It wasn't a war anymore. It was fear. The council tried to stay calm. They told their people it was under control. They said the humans were few, but the numbers kept growing. Jace and Mira watched a new group arrive. Not from the forest, from space. A hidden Earth ship had crashed years ago. Its emergency beacon just activated. Inside it were 12 humans, cryo-frozen, still alive. Mira opened one pod. A woman stepped out. Her face was covered in scars. She wore an old Earth Army tag. Status? Mira asked. The woman smiled. Ready to hunt? The message spread fast. Across the stars, old Earth tech woke up. Some in space stations. Some inside broken satellites. Some inside alien computers that had stolen Earth systems long ago. And with each wake-up call, another human stirred. Not by accident. By design, the last defense of Earth wasn't weapons. It was people hidden, sleeping, waiting for the signal, and now, the signal was everywhere. Dr. Viren watched the new data and whispered to herself, this was never a war of numbers. It was a war of time. And they waited. The Blood Forest was now a fortress. Tunnels underground, sniper towers hidden in trees, old Earth AI reprogrammed to control alien systems, battlefield made from memory. The humans didn't send peace talks. They didn't make threats. They sent one message. Burned into the side of an enemy ship. We were prey. Now we hunt in packs. Some alien soldiers dropped their weapons, and they saw it. Some refused to land on the planet. Fear spread faster than fire. The humans moved again that night. A team of 6 entered an alien outpost nearby. No shots fired. No alarms triggered. But by morning, the base was empty. Only one thing was left behind. A helmet, cut in 2, and a message. You ruled the stars. Now the stars are ours. The rise of the pack hunters wasn't loud. It was quiet, sudden, and total. The galaxy began to understand this wasn't the end of Earth. It was the return. The stars weren't peaceful anymore. Across galaxies, space traffic slowed. Trade routes emptied. Patrol ships vanished. Entire planets went quiet. It wasn't war. It was fear, one by one. The top powers in the galaxy realized the truth. The humans were not just waking up. They were moving, watching, hunting, and no one knew where they would strike next. On the edge of Sector 12, a giant city station called Vardex Prime floated above a gas world. Once full of light and music, now it stayed dark. Shops were closed, ships locked. Everyone whispered one name, Earth, even though the planet was gone, even though no one had seen it for 40,000 years. The fear returned. Inside the council hall on Vardex Prime, leaders from 6 alien races argued. Some wanted to attack. Some wanted to hide. Others wanted to run. They're not a nation, one shouted. They're animals. No, said another. Animals don't use your own ships. Against you? The room fell silent. A single screen lit up. A human face appeared, half in shadow. The voice came slow, calm, and cold. You came to Earth once. You erased it. Now Earth walks among you. We don't want your stars. We want your silence." Then the screen went black. Someone in the hall screamed. Outside, in orbit, a defense ship exploded, not from the outside, from the inside. Jay stood on the ruined deck of a small alien freighter. It had taken only 2 hours for his team to board, take control, and vanish. Now, the ship drifted as bait. Myra stood beside him, watching the stars. "They're scared," she said. "They should be." Jace replied. Another pod opened nearby. A tall man stepped out, coughing, eyes blinking hard. His arms were metal, cybernetics from Earth's last war. "Name?" Jace asked. "Rowan," the man said. "Heavy assault, Gen 5. Jace nodded. "Welcome to the pack." Rowan looked around. "How many of us now?" "Too many to count," Mira said. "But not enough to forget. They didn't build armies. They built silence. They hit stations, burned supply ships, left no tracks, no names, only signs. The Earth mark carved into metal and fear. On the planet Kortal, a high-value command center was destroyed in under 5 minutes. Security logs showed nothing. No weapons. No movement. Only a strange noise. Just before the blackout drums. Again, low and steady. Old Earth war drums. The sound spread. On trade ships. Comes relays. Military bases. The same rhythm played. No matter how many systems they shut down, the signal returned. People stopped sleeping. Leaders stopped speaking in public, and whispers became screams. "Hey, bounty was placed. 10 million credits for 1 human body, but the hunters who tried never returned. 1 lucky team captured a human, or thought they had. They chained him inside a cold room, took photos, sent messages, then he smiled. 5 minutes later, the building exploded. The walls had been marked from the inside. We don't run. We surround." The fear turned into panic. On Calran Station, the top news anchor started the broadcast like usual. But halfway through, her words slowed. Her hands shook. Behind her, screens GLITCHED, one after another, showed a face. Different. Each time, male, female, young, old, all human, and all staring straight ahead. "You erased us from maps," one voice said.
"We
rewrite the stars." People ran from the station. The lights cut out. No shots were fired. But Calren never broadcast again back in the forest. The pack grew. Humans came from far planets, from ancient hidden bases, from deep sleep ships long lost. They found each other, no? Leader gave orders. No one had to. They knew what to do. Hunt, survive. Strike. They trained in silence. Lived in shadows. Moved like smoke. Rowan led a raid on a supply world. No alarms were tripped. No survivors found the attackers. But every screen on the planet blinked once before shutting down. Earth sees you. Even inside the Galactic Council's main core, fear spread. Their top AI analyst broke down trying to track the humans. "They're inside everything," she whispered. "Inside the code, inside our walls, inside our minds." Alone in her office, watching old Earth footage, children laughing, oceans rising, cities burning, and then silence. Did we create this? She asked herself. Or did we just wake it up? A soft knock on her door. She turned. It was a human one she knew. "Mira, how did you get in here?" Viren asked, not even scared now. "You left the door open," Mira said. Viren smiled. "Of course I did." Mira stepped forward. "This isn't just about revenge, you know that." Viren nodded. "It's evolution. You became what we feared most, not because of hate, but because of history." Mira's voice lowered. "And now history returns." Sky above the city, the stars blinked, and one by one went dark, not because they disappeared, but because human ships blocked the view. No, one saw them coming. No one could stop them. They didn't fly in with bright lights or music. They slid through the dark. One ship at a time, one planet at a time, and fear followed like a shadow. It began with silence. Then the stars disappeared. In one corner of the galaxy, 1,000 ships vanished from sensors. Trade routes went dark. No message, no warning, only silence. The Galactic Alliance knew what it meant. Humans were coming. Panic spread. Across 50 worlds, emergency orders were given. Armies were called. Defense systems lit up. Fleets moved into formation. They thought they were ready. They were wrong. On the warship Vorga Prime, the captain stood in front of a giant screen, showing the stars. His voice was steady, but his hands trembled. "How many?" he asked. "Unknown," the officer said. "No visible ships." "But signals are being jammed. Where are they?" "We don't know. We see nothing." And that was the answer. Humans were already there, inside below. Every time a fleet moved, 1 or 2 ships didn't respond, and then they were gone, burned from the inside. Not by weapons, by sabotage, by humans. The last of Earth's children weren't fighting in the open. They moved like shadows. They didn't attack head-on. They let fear do most of the work. Across the galaxy, people stayed indoors. Lights stayed off. The words Earth and human were whispered like curses. And then a voice came. It wasn't a scream. It wasn't a demand. It was calm. It was cold. And it was everywhere. You hunted us. You ruled us. Now you kneel. The message played. On every station, on every ship, in every ear, and then the humans moved. They didn't come in massive waves. They came in waves of 10, 20, maybe 50, but each strike was perfect. A command base on Yarl 6 disappeared in under 30 minutes. The central banking ship over Maris Prime lost all power. When drones arrived, every officer was gone. No blood, no weapons fired. Just gone. A great palace on the wealthy moon of Olzris was found empty. In the main hall, one sentence burned into the wall. We take back the stars. Inside a hidden chamber on a frozen world, the Council of 17 gathered. They had been the rulers of trade, war, and diplomacy for thousands of years now. They looked afraid. One said, "They don't want planets. They don't take gold. They don't ask for power. And what do they want?" No one had the answer. Then the wall behind them opened. Not a door, a hole. And from it, a single human walked forward. Bare hands, cold eyes, calm breath. "I'll tell you what we want," he said. The guards moved to fire, but the man raised one hand. They froze, not from fear, from a signal, a code that shut down their weapons. "I want silence," the human said. "The silence you gave Earth when you erased it? I want your fear. I want your memories. I want you to live knowing we never forget." The lights blinked out. When they came back, the human was gone. So were the Council of 17. No blood, no sound, just silence. On the ground, where they once sat, was a piece of earth stone. Real, old, burned, and on it, carved in deep lines, was a symbol, the mark of Earth's last war unit, Apex, in orbit above a burning world. Hundreds of ships floated. They weren't alien. They were human, built in secret, powered by tech, recovered from deep space, hardened by time, painted black. No names. No colors. Only silence. Inside each ship, humans sat quietly. No cheers. No speeches. Only purpose. Rowan stood near the main window of the largest ship. His arms, full of scars and steel, rested on the frame. "Is this it?" Mira asked, walking beside him. He didn't speak for a moment. Then, "We never wanted war. We wanted peace. But they taught us how to survive in fire, so now we bring fire." Jace entered the room, his coat dripping from the rain on the last. "Mission, we've taken 147 systems," he said. "Without a single warning shot? They're surrendering?" Mira asked. "No," Jace said. "They're hiding." Mira smiled. "Good." In a small village on a quiet planet, an old alien man looked up at the sky. He remembered Earth. He had once traded with humans. Before the war, before the fall, now he saw dark shapes moving between stars, and he felt hope, not fear, because deep inside, He knew they had earned it. The humans had been broken, hunted, erased, but they had never begged, never kneeled. They had watched, they had learned, and they had waited now. They were at the top. Apex, on the last day of the galactic cycle, the new map of the stars was released. Millions watched as it updated live. Whole sectors now glowed with a soft mark, not a flag, not a name. A claw, the symbol of the pack, the symbol of Earth, people. Didn't cheer, they didn't protest, they simply understood. The galaxy had a new ruler, not through politics, not through money, but through fear, respect, and through the quiet voice that now echoed across every station. We were made in the dark, trained by loss, forged by time. You thought we were gone? Right. But Earth never dies. We are humanity. We are Apex. And with that, the stars fell silent.